So this is the first office hours of 2018, which is great.
Yes. Yeah. We were last live December 22nd, I believe it was. So quite a few questions in here since then. Let's see. Yes. Yeah. We were last live December 22nd.
Uh-oh.
Sorry about that. Had a little feedback there. Sorry about that, folks.
That's okay.
That's okay.
Yeah, all good.
All right.
Yeah, but I'll jump in here so we can make sure we have time to get through all of them. And anyone that is live with us right now, thanks for joining us. And please feel free to submit a question to us as we go along, and we'll answer in real time to make sure that we can address your question before you need to jump off the call. Let's see. We have Shariah submitted a question to us. She is inquiring about more customization with the course completion certificates. Do we anticipate that we might someday be able to customize where the name and date and various fields go?
Corey, I'm going to let you handle that one.
So, is it on our roadmap? Yes, it is. To be able to customize some of those details about the course completion certificate. Now, depending on, because we have on our roadmap improvements to the course completion certificate. Now, whether or not you can actually customize where you can put the name and date will depend on what functionality is involved. Because, I mean, right now you can load up a course completion certificate and you can put an image in there, you can put a couple other details, but being able to specify where those go, depending on the image, is kind of a difficult thing. So we'd have to create some type of interface that you can maybe drag the date or the name in a specific spot, and it would populate on that PDF or the course completion certificate. So is it on our roadmap? Yes, but we're not sure when we will get to that. So hopefully sometime this year, but we don't have a specific date for it yet.
And we're a little bit restricted in terms of what the PDF library, right, that we're using allows us to get away with.
Yeah, right now we are. So, but in the future that may change. So,
okay, great. And there were two parts to Shariah's question. I'm sorry, Charla. Let's see. I've been working with quizzes and cannot find a setting that allows the student to see the correct answer and explanation for the questions only after receiving a passing score. If I check the boxes, the student gets the correct answers and explanations after the first attempt, so they can always get 100% on the second attempt. I would like to provide these items only after the student has met the passing grade, so they know the correct answers to the questions they've missed, even though they achieved a passing percentage. I think we have had this request a few times.
Yeah, I mean, one thing you can do to mitigate that is to you can actually configure your quizzes to shut off a couple of things so that your users don't or your students don't have that information at hand immediately. You can disable the show correct answer. You can also disable the mark answers, so it doesn't necessarily show which one was right or wrong. And so what you can do, it'll show the grade, but you can also allow the retake at that point. And then obviously if they pass, they would have a percentage, but they still wouldn't know which one was the correct answer. So I understand the scenario, and maybe that's something we need to add to our feature request list for future date, just to kind of have a context as to when that information is displayed. So great question. Great question.
Yep. Yeah, that would be pretty handy to have just display, not revealing the correct answer for the incorrect answers and being able to break it down a little more.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and pop that on our Trello board right now, gentlemen.
Okay.
Okay. Great.
And it looks like is it Sharia or Sharia is on our live chat.
Charla.
Oh,
Charla.
okay, great.
Oh gosh, I
Hi, Charla.
totally misread that. Charla. So she said, I have specific certificates I have to use, so I would have to indicate where the name and date go on those. Yeah, right now that's currently unavailable, but we hope to add something like that in the future so that if you have a specific one that you want to upload and use, then we would provide an interface that you could specify where the name would go and where the date would go. But right now, because we're printing information on these PDFs, we have to know exactly where it goes, and we don't have an interface to tell us where exactly it goes. So right now it's pretty limited, but we're going to try and improve it in the future.
Yeah, I think we've also had a number of requests, speaking of customizing it, to generate a unique certificate ID number.
Yeah,
right.
I know in some professional fields for continuing education and professional development hours and things, that's required. So there are a number of great. Let's see.
You're still on, Nate.
Okay. Let's see. Interesting question here from Nikosi. This is something I know we've talked about quite a bit. Looking for an LMS that has a timer which prevents fast forwarding or skipping slides before the student spends a specified amount of time on the page.
Yeah, so we've had this request, I think, multiple times. And the short answer to that is we do have this on our roadmap. I don't have an ETA on that, but it's definitely something that's been requested, kind of trying to keep users on a particular course unit for a specified amount of time, or at least having some kind of record of how long they've spent on page. Another request we've had in a similar sense is to somehow have the ability to force users to view a video in its completion before the mark is completed button appears on page, so that they can actually complete that unit. So yeah, we definitely have those on our roadmap for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. And I think we're looking at two things. One, logging the amount of time that users spend on course content, and requiring a certain amount of time to be spent. And second, possibly integration between S3 Media Maestro and WP Courseware, so that mark is complete button can't be triggered until a certain point within a video, right. which would be really cool to have.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Nikosi had two more parts to the question here. My course will also be required to have a pop-up that comes up if the student is idle for a specified amount of time. I don't know that we've ever actually had this feature request. We've had people request that they want maybe an email reminder if someone hasn't logged in for a while. But I don't think we've gotten this one before.
No. Yeah, I can't recall getting that particular request.
I was going to say, I know that with certain certificates like educational certificates and stuff like that, they have to be on for so long, going back to the last question. But as far as a pop-up goes, eventually when we add this directly into WP Courseware, it might be nice to have something like that, but there are other plugins that you can use that will help you with this. So,
right. Idle time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the final part of this question, which themes do we recommend for use with WP Courseware?
Yeah, so that's a great question. This is a question we frequently get. And so my quick answer to that is to use I would recommend using some sort of theme that has a child theme, or even better, like a framework, maybe like a Genesis framework. If you're leaning towards, trying to really customize using click and drag functionality, you could use something like Beaver Builder. Beaver Builder is an awesome page builder. It's probably my favorite page builder. The guys down at Beaver Builder are doing some really cool stuff with it as well. So WP Courseware functions with any theme. And the cool thing that we recently released, thanks to Corey, he actually develops some functionality that interacts with the customizer. So regardless of what theme you're using, you can actually customize the look and feel of WP Courseware with the customizer. You can change button colors, progress bar colors, the little check marks, things like that. Things that aren't necessarily controlled by your theme, but you can give it a similar look and feel to match your theme.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree with Ben. Any Genesis theme is a good option to start with. You could also use some of the like Storefront for WooCommerce is a great theme to use if you're wanting to integrate e-commerce functionality and WP Courseware. So any one of those I think would be great. But Beaver Builder, if you're using a general theme, it is great to use because it gives you so much flexibility when it comes to laying out your page and stuff like that. So I would go with those options.
Great.
So Nate, we have a question. Well, actually, I think Charlotte asked another question in our Q&A.
She asked that one.
And then we've got one to answer from Peter as well from our chat. So I'll go ahead and answer Charlotte's first. Charlotte asks, do you have any plans to add any type of discussion group or discussion forum capabilities to the class at some point in the future? And that's a great question. So having some kind of interaction with the students would be wonderful. Right now, I believe we have integration with it's BBPress, right, Nate? Is that the one that
there is?
I'm sorry, BuddyPress.
BuddyPress, yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. So the guys down at Wisdom Labs, so it's a third-party plugin, has developed an integration with WP Courseware, and I think it's just wisdomlabs.com.
Right.
And so you can purchase the integration, and it has some interaction like that. BuddyPress is obviously just a social type plugin for your website, but might give you some of the functionality you're looking for. As far as something native to WP Courseware, it's something that we've had requested fairly often. And so I'm not quite sure where that maps out on our roadmap. It's a little further down the line since we do have the integration with BuddyPress, but it's definitely something we'd look at.
Right. And we've just found by surveying our users that everyone has kind of a preferred way of communicating with their students. We've not gotten concrete answers from our customers on what they would like in terms of built-in communication. Some of them use private Facebook groups, some use forums, which we did years ago with our very first course. So there are a number of options, but the BuddyPress integration for WP Courseware is pretty slick. It's a nice option.
Yeah, and more than likely down the road, we'd probably offer it as some type of like add-on. I would think, because that's the power of WordPress is it allows you to install multiple plugins with WP Courseware. So it'd either be some type of add-on or basic functionality inside the core plugin, or an integration with something that does it far better than we could do it, like BuddyPress. So
yeah, I think forums are a great way to go. Like Nate mentioned, we had used the forum plugin in the past, and it worked out really well. In fact, an interesting little side note, has nothing to do with this discussion, but that's how Nate and I met. We met in a forum, and so there's a lot of good interaction in a forum. And so I think it's one of the best ways to go. This is personal opinion. So I'm sorry, Nate, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so I was just going to go over to Peter's question. Peter asks, can I initially turn comments on for units so I can get feedback from beta testers, then later turn off comments so nobody sees the comments? Also, can I selectively allow only certain users to enter comments? It's a pretty loaded question. So the way comments work in WordPress in general, you have to enable comments on a per post basis, and typically comments are on in your general settings. And so each post you can actually turn comments on or off. So it's kind of the same way with WP Courseware. When you enable comments for WP Courseware, what you're doing is you're enabling the ability to enable comments on a per unit basis. So when you use the little configuration option to turn them on for WP Courseware, you can go into your unit and you'll have an option in your screen options. You'll have the option to select discussion, which will then pop in a meta box to allow you to enable the discussion for that particular unit. That said, you can also disable that, and so that way, the discussion meta box is still there, but you can uncheck
Close it.
so that comments are not visible for that particular post. I mean, the other way to go is you can just delete the comments. You can mass delete comments as well. But as far as I know, out of the box with WordPress or with WP Courseware, there's no way to selectively allow certain users to enter comments. There might be a plugin available for that outside of WP Courseware, but not to my knowledge. I've never used one.
And I'm not sure, Peter, if this would be a good fit for your use case or not, but another option would be to place a WP Courseware survey in each of your units if you're beta testing, just to get, it would be private feedback, but you'd be able to prompt your users with some specific questions or have them rank how they feel about certain things.
Yeah.
I was going to add one more thing, Ben, to your comment, is that inside the discussion settings inside WordPress, you can do a couple things. You can make your users fill out name and email. Another thing you can do is only allow users that are registered and logged in to comment. So that might be a way that you can limit who comments, is if they are specific beta testers that are registered and logged in, then those are the only people that can comment. So
that's a good point.
Yeah, so just maybe a workaround to your problem right there. So
yeah, I mean, technically, people shouldn't know the URL to your course units just because they're protected, and obviously the content is protected. But if somebody got the URL, they could still see the comments at the bottom. So that's where Corey's suggestion comes in handy. So you can make sure that only registered users can view those comments.
Yeah.
Great. And you could still choose to approve them manually, right? If you only wanted specific comments showing up.
That's true. Yes, you can manually do that. I mean, and like I said, you can delete them, you can mass delete them, you can do whatever you want.
Great. Thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll move back over to Trello here. We've got a couple of questions from Wayne. Wayne's been a long time WP Courseware and S3 Media Maestro user. I think he was probably one of our very first WP Courseware customers back in the day. Video player that's interactive, calls to actions, web forms, question gate, etc.
Wow. So
I could take this one if you want, Ben.
Okay, go ahead.
The only one I know of is the lead player. I don't think that's around anymore.
Which is not offered anymore, right? That's the only I can.
Yeah, I was going to say. But one that works with S3 Media Maestro, I don't know of one yet that does. But we have plans for S3 Media Maestro extended video player options. So you can basically integrate a video player with S3 Media Maestro, a different video player. And I know that like Flow Player and stuff like that, they have some options for interactivity. So like calls to action, you can insert a web form, maybe some type of question gate, etc. So there may be functionality like that in the future, but right now it's pretty limited, and it's pretty hard to implement that functionality as well, because video on the web is still pretty fractured. Like there's a lot of different options to play and interact with video on the web. So if that becomes more standardized, or we decide inside S3 that it's more standardized, then we can start adding some of that functionality, but there's no timeline on when that would be put in. So,
and it looks like if you visit the H5P homepage, they actually, I believe they've recently added interactive video options. I'm not sure exactly how far that extends, but
yeah,
that's a possible option too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
we love H5P.
Yeah.
Let's see. Wayne also asked if I can customize what's revealed after mark complete is pushed. Not a general response, but unique to each unit, which we don't currently have.
No, we don't currently have that. It's a pretty cool idea. I like it. I mean, what we could do to kind of test the waters with that maybe is add a filter with that content, and then you can create some customizations from there. Maybe at some point we could add some sort of custom notification per unit. It just starts getting really nitty gritty when you start doing that for every single unit. But yeah, it'd be pretty cool if you could do that. Pretty cool idea.
Yeah, it's a cool idea.
Right. I like it.
So got a question on YouTube from Al. Al asks, is there a way of using a unit on more than one course? So it's a really good question. We've had this come up very frequently. And all I can say to that is it's coming for sure.
For sure.
Yeah. I can't say when. I mean, we're likely, we've got an update coming out within 2 to 3 weeks, something like that. It's not going to be on that update, although we've got some really cool stuff bundled into that update. It'll likely be on the next one though. Likely.
Yep. Likely.
Very high on that priority list.
Yes.
Yeah. It's imminent within the first quarter probably of this year.
Right.
At the moment, it is possible to duplicate units, right? Or duplicate an entire course.
Right. You can duplicate your units, and actually that's kind of cool because that's actually a WordPress functionality. I didn't realize it, and I kind of was stumped for a minute there. I was like asking Corey, "Hey, did you add some duplication to our units?" And he's like, "No. How did that get there?" Apparently, good old WordPress handles that now.
No, we added it.
Oh, did we add it?
We did it quite a while ago.
I think you're remembering our conversation, Ben, because
need some more of this
stuff. Because when we first had this conversation, you asked me that, and I'm like, did we add that? Because I mean, there's a lot of code inside WP Courseware, and it's tough to remember everything. And so I think I was like, no, I didn't add that. I don't know what. Okay. It must be a new WordPress thing. And then I was like, okay, wait, we did add it. So
this happens all the time. We've been at this for a while now. We kind of forget what we've done and what we haven't.
We forget, yeah.
It's like, okay, let's review the change log.
Yeah, but the new functionality would basically allow you to get away from having to duplicate them. You could use them globally in multiple courses, and possibly even retain progress from one course to another to keep a student from having to go through a particular lesson twice. But we'll find out when we get into it.
Yep.
Good question.
It's an exciting feature, though.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool.
Yeah.
In fact, Peter on our chat, he's like, "Yes, use unit with multiple courses." He wants that one too.
Another vote.
Well,
Second
lots
that
of people
one.
do.
Yeah. Yeah. It'll be a big time saver for everyone. Okay. Thanks, guys. Back to Trello. Let's see. Tanvir, let's see. I'm not sure if he's actually using the Buddy unit. Comments are not appearing in Buddy Press activity streams. That's a little, trying to think. So with Buddy Press, I'm assuming normally post comments go into the activity stream.
That's a good question. That I don't know. I can look that up really quick. Let's see here.
That is a built-in function of Buddy Press, it looks like.
It may be just a
Apply to comment link.
Right. Sure. I just need to enable that custom post type for units.
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah, either that or they'd likely have to check in with the guys down at Wisdom Labs to see if, well, that wouldn't even require the integration, right? Because if it's just custom post type,
no
comments, yeah, huh?
I'm looking to see if there's some type of like option or something like that. Because activity settings, there's an option for blog and forum comments. Allow activity stream commenting on blog and forum posts. I'm wondering if it's probably not there by default, and so we may have to get you a snippet or something like that allows it, but it may not support it, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I have Buddy Press installed on my test site here. Just firing up my local site here. But I can double check that. If you guys want to move on to another question, I can try to verify that.
Okay.
Sure. I will grab another one from, let's see, another one from Trello. A prospective WP courseware customer asks how to get people to pay for your course on your website. Many people visit my website, but don't pay. This could probably be an entire, at least one office hours session on its own.
Oh yeah.
And we have some resources on our blog for example, we have a pretty popular post called 10 Proven Strategies for Marketing Your Online Course. However, we don't have a lot of posts on how to convert people that come to your website. There's certainly a lot of psychology behind it and a lot of different opinions and strategies that you can use. And I would probably recommend maybe starting with digitalmarketer.com for help on getting your conversion rate up on your website. Any others? Optimization, maybe HubSpot.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't know. Have you watched any webinars lately, Nate, on marketing courses or anything? I'm trying to think if anybody we know is.
I don't know. I would probably Google conversion rate optimization, and I'm sure there'd be some great resources there. I've been listening to a lot of a lot of podcasts lately, Blog Millionaire, Amy Porterfield, Art of Paid Traffic. But most of those focus on getting people to your site, which it sounds like is not the problem.
And once you do decide on a strategy, you can use other strategies to test conversion rate optimization, like A/B testing and things like that. So, like Nate said, I would just look for some popular articles on the psychology behind conversions and how you can get people to convert, I guess.
Neil Patel would be a good person to follow. And we actually recently implemented one of his tools called Crazy Egg, which will give you heat map tracking, eye tracking, visitor recording, what else? All sorts of overlays so you can see how people are moving through your site. And because a lot of times it'll be obvious to us that our website, people should do this when they get to our website, but it's often very different in reality what people are doing. So that's a really helpful tool, Crazy Egg, to see what people are doing on your site. Like it. You guys know I could talk about that, so. Let's see. Okay. Another Trello question. Do we have anything pending that's live?
Let me check.
No, I don't see anything.
Nothing live. And I'm just about done testing this. So I'll give you my results. Go ahead and answer one more if you want, and I'll give you my results on the Buddy Press.
Right.
Sure. We have another question that came in via email, and it's about improving the security of AWS using S3 Media Maestro. So I guess in a nutshell, S3 Media Maestro does improve the security of AWS by not allowing people to share the link to your AWS hosted media content. But Corey, maybe you can talk about how that works and where we may be headed with it.
Yeah, absolutely. So right now, the only kind of obfuscation that you get with S3 Media Maestro is what's called an expiring link. So you can set when you insert your media, whether it's a video or an audio file with S3 Media Maestro, it uses a customized link from Amazon that will expire after a certain amount of time. So it'll expire after 30 seconds, 1 minute. And so it will display on the page when it's first rendered, but then if you go back and refresh the page, you'll get a new link so it can start the time over, so that if someone were to grab that link and go try and download it, it more than likely will have expired and it's not accessible. So past that, we do have some ideas on how we can improve security further, such as trying to prevent people from right-clicking and using browser plugins and stuff like that to download your video. It's kind of hard to do because there's so many different ways that they could get a hold of your video or audio or media. So we're trying to do some stuff like that. We're also trying to even further obfuscate the URL so that they can't even get the expired link to go directly to Amazon. It's obfuscated so that it's some random letters and things like that. If they go to that outside of it playing on the website, it just gives them an error, basically. So we're trying some different things to improve security even further than it is now, but it's probably a little bit down the road. So.
Right. And after those two steps, that's about as far as we can go, right?
Pretty much. Yeah, there's only so much that we can do to improve, I guess, the security of it. But we're trying to experiment with some new things and to make sure that your content is protected. Mostly, I mean, there's always a way around most things, but we want to make sure that your content's protected. So we're working on that even further.
Right. Great. Thank you, Corey.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it's a tough topic, but it's one of those things. It's so hard to cover cover all your bases. It's just there's no way to be 100% foolproof on video content like that. It's
just
right.
Very tough.
If somebody wants it bad enough, they're going to get it.
If you are broadcasting media on the internet, it can be copied and shared.
Yeah. I've seen some some people that'll whip out their iPhone and just record the screen. It's ludicrous what people will go through, but they'll do it.
Right.
I mean, I don't know if you guys remember back when the BearShare Napster days. I mean, people used to take video cameras into the movie theater and fit torrent those or whatever. I mean, it's insane what people do with video.
Not only that, but I mean, you got to remember that most people are not that creative. Right. But hackers are very creative, and people that want the content are very creative. So I would say, it's just security by obscurity is a different topic altogether, but you can only go so far with it, basically.
So I was testing on the comments, but what's interesting is that the activity stream does not even show comments like on a blog post. So I'm not quite sure. You can comment in the activity stream.
Oh.
But I'm not seeing, and I mean, I have site tracking enabled, so it's record activity for new posts and comments from your site. And then on the options, I do have blog and forum comments, allow activity stream commenting on blog and forum posts. Not quite sure. I mean, I don't know if it's not quite sure.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to do a little bit more research into it.
Yeah, not seeing
could be a BuddyPress issue.
Yeah, maybe there's an option to enable it per post, or I don't know.
If you go into settings and go to BuddyPress, and you go to options.
Yeah, everything in there's everything literally
turned on.
Yeah, let me try one more time. I noticed the comments were disabled for this post. I'm not sure why, but even though it allowed me to comment, I guess because I'm the administrator. All right, let's try that. Okay, so let's see if that shows up on the activity stream, and it does. Okay, that's interesting.
So comments for post do.
Yeah, so now let's just try that same exact thing for a unit. And what it might be too is that it's not acknowledging GPT. Yeah, there's probably going to have to be some sort of probably filter that needs to be modified. So let me try commenting on a unit really quick. Yeah, sorry, I was hoping to have this done rather quickly. All right, so comment and result is, that did not show up.
In fact, I just found.
You found the filter.
Well, I found the Codex article for BuddyPress, so you have to opt it in. And I'll let's see, where should I post this? Just in the chat or? Do we have like show notes or anything like that?
We could. Or we could email. Let's see who asked the question now.
We can create a file of the chat from this session, and I can start including those on our office hours page.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Here, I'll post this in the chat just so we remember it. But basically, you basically have to add post type support for BuddyPress activity. So you do add post type support, course unit to BuddyPress activity.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's cool. So yeah, it would be course underscore unit.
Course underscore unit.
You basically play in the documentation there. It has page. Just replace page with course underscore unit.
Course. Yeah.
Cool.
So it would look like.
I guess I should have just Googled that first to begin with.
Here,
of course, leave it up to the developer.
What? I don't Google anything, man. I know it all.
That's right.
So.
Great.
Cool.
I do not see anything else on the live feed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was just looking at the Wisdom Lab BuddyPress integration. I don't think it has comments included either. It's basically just course activities.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, it's literally one line of code that you add to your functions.php file. And
okay, that's easy enough.
Yeah.
So Charlotte chatting, what should I search and plug? I've been looking for that and cannot find it. Wisdom Labs. Do we have a link for the Wisdom Labs BuddyPress plugin?
Yes, I have it pulled up, or I did. I'll grab that. Let's see. There it is. Charlotte, they also had they developed, we obviously did not develop these extensions, but we sort of consulted with them pretty closely based on what we thought our customers would want in terms of functionality. And they've actually created another one, Notes for WP courseware, which is kind of like allow students to keep either a public or a private journal within a correlation link in there.
Yeah, very cool.
Actually, let me go ahead and send that link out to all attendees. There we go.
Oh, whoops. Sorry about that.
No worries.
There we go. I only sent it to you guys. You guys knew where to find it.
You know what? I don't think I added. I went to all panelists. Whoops. Let me.
On the post-type activity.
There we go.
There we go.
I just realized I did that too.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so we're through all the questions. So
yeah, anybody else have any questions? WP courseware related, S3 Media Maestro related, Churnly related, or even WordPress related? We'd be happy to answer those.
Mm-hmm.
Have we ever done a Churnly demo? Did we do that once?
I think we did that once. It's pretty. Okay. It's kind of hard to demo.
Yeah.
That one.
Right. But, yeah. True.
But eventually we'll make it easier, hopefully.
Yeah. And if you don't know what Churnly is, for those out there, Churnly is a credit card churn reducer plugin. So what we found with with our EDD system, we use Easy Digital Downloads. We found that there's really not a way to update people's credit cards easily. We do use PayPal Pro as our payment gateway, which makes it even more difficult. And so we were trying to brainstorm a way to figure out when somebody's credit card's about to expire, to send them a notification, bring them back to our site so that they can fill out a basic form to update their credit card, because most people don't realize when their credit card expires, especially when you have a recurring account like that. And so Corey here developed Churnly, and basically just it checks frequently credit cards for expiration, sends out an email with a URL. URL comes back to your site. Basic web form. There's no need to log in, and you're able to update your credit card super easy. Yes, the internet coach just asked, does Churnly work with Stripe? It does, but here's the caveat. You have to have an EDD shop, so Easy Digital Download shop with recurring and Stripe, or you can use WooCommerce with subscriptions and Stripe. So yes, it does, but you have to be running an EDD shop or a WooCommerce shop.
Yep. And you can set up different intervals too to notify the person. So it's kind of like the expiring subscription notification, but so you could set it to be like, okay, when a subscription is a month out, so 30 days before the subscription renews, let's go ahead and go check the credit card. And if their credit card expires within, it will have expired by the time their subscription renews, send out the notification. And so you can set up multiple notifications. So a month out, 10 days out, 5 days out, the day before. So it's really useful in that you can just add another layer to make sure that that subscription will renew on a credit card when the time comes. So.
Yeah, and the reason we developed this was actually out of a need for our own business. But what we realized is there's really nothing on the market today that exists that will integrate directly with Easy Digital Downloads or WooCommerce. There are some SaaS products out there, but they don't integrate. And if they do integrate, they don't integrate easily. And so this plugin makes it super easy. It takes you less than 5 minutes to configure. Corey's made the setup super easy. It creates the pages for you, and you can get rolling with Churnly really quick.
So I will say with regards to Stripe, currently it does not work with the Stripe checkout. So like you can check out with Stripe with the credit card form and renew with the credit card form and update with the credit card form. But if you select Stripe checkout, so meaning Stripe uses their own JavaScript to provide a credit card form. If you're using that currently, it does not integrate with that piece.
Right.
But just regular Stripe, it does. So.
Great. And the numbers are with involuntary customer churn due to expired credit cards. I think businesses that offer a recurring subscription, I think the average is around, they lose about 24% of their customers per year.
Yeah.
Just due to expired credit cards. So it's a pretty inexpensive investment.
Yeah. And we do have some plans to add some more integration with Churnly. We'd like to get an integration with MemberPress. But if you guys have some suggestions out there, let us know. We'll pop it on our feature request list, and we'll definitely consider it. But yeah, it's a great way to keep some money that's just left on the table and keep that in your business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Great.
Looks like we had a question from Peter. He mentioned that, something about full width unit templates. Currently, WP courseware course units are actually ready to go or ready to accept templates, I guess I should say. So you could technically write a template or multiple templates, adding sidebars, etc., and apply them to your course units. My recommendation for that is to take your theme's single.php file and make a copy of it, and then you can modify, the sidebars and that sort of thing. The only thing you have to change is the header, and we have this documented on our support site at WP support.wpcourseware.com. But once you do that, you're able to apply those templates to the course units. Now, if you name the file, what is it, Corey? What's the namespace for the file so that it applies to all course templates? Do you know that off the top of your head?
Course unit templates?
Yeah, if you gave it a certain name, it'll apply to that custom post type for all of them, like across the board.
Yeah, so it's single dash course underscore unit.
Okay, so if you name that file, what Corey
single
just said,
dash course underscore unit dot php. Mm-hmm.
Then it will apply automatically to all your course units. You don't have to go into each course unit to specify that. So
yeah, that's a WordPress templating function. So with any post type, and course unit is a post type, you can specify a single dash post type name. So in this case, course underscore unit, and it will apply to every course unit post type single across the site. So
yeah, good question. Great question.
Mm-hmm. And Ben, we also have a tutorial video on the YouTube channel for that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, there is. I think we've, I think at the video at that time, I probably made it more complicated than it really is. And just after working with customers on this particular issue, I could probably redo that video and make it a little bit more streamlined for people. And I probably ought to do that.
But should not have to get into Go. Your tutorial video is not complete. Still leave sidebar area blank.
So Peter had a follow up to that. He said he saw the video and he's still getting a sidebar area that's blank. So a lot of times what happens with that, Peter, is modifying the template may not be enough. You may have to write CSS code for that. And that CSS is obviously driven by your theme. So you may still get the sidebar, even though you remove the code that displays the sidebar. The CSS is making room for that sidebar to appear. So you'll have to modify some CSS. So there might be a few additional steps. It's really difficult to add all of that into the video because every theme is different. There's no two themes that are alike. So if I were to show you a CSS snippet for that, or even try to give you like a full structured template file for that, it's impossible because every theme is different. Long answer or short answer rather is that you may have to work with some CSS.
Great.
So we got another question from Peter. Is your DAP membership integration current? Peter, we don't have an integration with DAP per se from us. The DAP membership integration is, I believe, part of the core code for DAP. I believe Vina over at DAP has directly integrated it. So there's no separate plugin for that. And they are the authors of the DAP integration, which is within their DAP code. So you'd have to check with Vina.
Yeah. Yeah, it should be. I mean, it was authored in 2016.
Video on it not too long ago.
Yeah.
Oh, has it been that long?
It's I don't know how long it's been. Yeah, I don't know exactly when they actually put it into DAP. Okay, a year ago. So yeah, definitely check with Vina. It should be up to date. We haven't changed.
Should be current.
Yeah, that's probably about right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're trying to be sensitive with the code modifications that we're making because we're doing a lot of changes here recently and in the upcoming days. But we're trying to be sensitive to the integrations that we have. So if we touch any code that will affect those integrations, we will definitely communicate with the plugin authors.
Mm.
Great.
Okay.
I think we're almost out of time.
Cool.
With our friends at Zoom. But yeah, great questions. Thank you guys for answering those, and to everybody that is watching or will watch this later. We really appreciate you joining us. And these have been a lot of fun for us. I think is our 5th or 6th month doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. It's a blast. Yeah. It's fun.
Yeah.
If you need to access it, a recap, it's just flyplugins.com/office-hours. We'll have a replay of this up there shortly. In our next session, it looks like will be Friday, February 23rd. So we'll be looking forward to that one. And if anyone, if you think of any questions, you can always submit them on the Office Hours page, or we're happy to have you join us live and ask them here also.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Really appreciate the support.
See you next month.
Okay.
All right.
Bye, guys.